It is 7 PM on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022, and we are going to open the committees meeting. Do roll call, please.
Yep, I have committee members Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot,
Here.
William Luxinger is absent, Nathan Maz,
Here.
Jen Christensen,
Here.
Bill Motisi,
Here.
President Rick Worm,
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabini,
Here.
I Clerk Sandy Mausam here, Public Works Supervisor Brett Berge,
Here.
and Engineer Matt Hansen.
Here.
All right, first thing on the agenda is the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the April 5th, 2022 Committee of Committees minutes.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to approve April 5th, 2022 Committee of Committees meeting minutes. Nathan seconds. Any discussion on the minutes? We do. Beautiful. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I'll throw you guys off. That's a 7:01. Reports the officers. Under me, we have Ryan. You're up.
I only ask that you speak into the microphone because it connects into my system that's recording the meeting.
Is it?
Okay, not a problem.
It is on.
My name is Ryan Mignoni. I'm a project developer for United States Solar Corporation. This is not, I'm not trying to present a project to you guys at all. This is more of a informational. You guys can ask me any questions. I just kind of want to see what the ability is to do a project in the village of Davis Junction, and kind of what your guys' thoughts are on that before our wanted to create site plans, get engineering involved, and submitting a project to the state. Specifically, this is for a community solar project that once constructed, anyone within the community can sign up there or subscribe their electrical bill to, which would then you would receive a guaranteed discount on your electrical bill every month. We typically see anywhere from 15 to 20% savings rate, and all you would literally have to do is call us up once this is where we are proposing this right now. We're in discussions with Vern Grabby, who owns property just southeast of here, just east of, I believe it's Davis or Junction Road. The land that we're looking at, I think, is the most suitable for this type of application. It is even east of the railroad tracks, so there's not really any business or any home that would stare directly at it. It's out of the way and still has the ability for it to provide something to the community as well, not just through any resident or business signing up for the subscription of the power that's produced and fed back into the grid, but also the tax revenue that does come from that as well. So, I mean, more, I'm just gonna bring it up. You guys can ask me any questions, and I just kind of want to see the feasibility of a project like this within the village limits.
This is got a moment. William arrived at 7:02. You want to call him in?
William,
I'm here.
All right, folks. We're talking southeast of town. I'm assuming that's down at Junction and Big Mound.
it sounds like, so it sounds like the other half of the farm field to the east of where our drainage goes in.
On the other, so east of that.
On the other side of the railroad tracks?
You said to the east of the railroad.
east of
track.
the railroad
So
tracks.
it would
Yeah,
be
I
on the
have
side
like
of the
a,
track.
just like a preliminary picture.
You could
here.
pass that around. It'd be great.
It wouldn't be the village.
On the sidewalk.
It might be.
It is, it was,
Are you sure?
yeah.
You wanna
Is
pull
it?
up on your map? Oh, that's not even that. So.
No, you're not talking. Danny's place.
Directly where the home, the two homes are, right here on Junction Road across from the Harvest Glen Road.
Yeah.
Take those homes, go to the east side of the tracks there.
Oh,
But you wouldn't be able to see it from the east side of the
You would
tracks.
not be
No,
able to.
That's, yeah, that's kind of the idea.
But-
So it's that little
Just
area?
wanna Pull up the map.
Sandy.
and cast it.
if Panning Place went in, then.
If Panning Place is built,
Yeah.
then you would.
Yeah,
then you
and in
would.
place would definitely see it,
Yeah.
but
There's
the
a-
likelihood of
There's a
that.
pre-platted subdivision that already exists out that way.
And the idea is there's also a railroad policy in there. It's already in place. So we would try to utilize that.
Here, you could,
If you check, Yeah.
he's actually
Sir?
gonna try and,
Yeah.
John, do you mind turning that on? Behind you, upper left corner. It should be the bottom button. Thank you.
I know where it's at now.
Well, phone that one.
I'm pretty sure I know where it's at, but I'm not 100% positive.
That one.
No.
Yeah,
it's
but
up
on
there.
the back side of the,
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
bottom
yeah,
half of
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh, so you really couldn't
yeah.
see it.
you know, that's.
That's
There we
correct.
go.
my-
So that one.
Unless you built this subdivision.
Hey, you know, I don't care about that. That's.
So Panning Place is scheduled to go directly to the east of
Canyon
that.
Place would be here.
Yeah, that's Panning Place,
And where's the proposed? Just
where the blue and red
It'd
line.
be
is.
like the lower 2/3 of this side.
Yeah, just south of that lower arc.
So Contrary already owns that land?
No.
No,
By 250.
Panning Place LLC already owns that.
Oh, sorry. That's
Frank-
not the same. thing.
Frank Vella, who owns.
Oh, all
Contrary
right.
also
So it is the
Or
same.
who owns Harvest Glen LLC
It's
also.
right. I
owns
gotcha.
Panning Place.
But they
It's a
own it.
different company name.
Well, I don't know that Joe is involved in Panning.
Sorry.
Place.
Right.
The ownership is Frank.
I'm just saying.
I'm a
The
little,
same family.
a
Have
little
you-
new to all this, so explain to me exactly what you're trying to do,
Rick, I
what
got,
the
Rick, I got a
Oh,
question
cost
here.
or what ventures this is. I mean, are you just leasing the land from them and then
Exactly.
Oh,
how's this all playing out if we were to say, yay, we like whatever you're selling, which I don't even know what that is yet.
We're not really selling anything.
Okay.
It's more
Or
of,
providing,
yeah, exactly.
Use those
We're
words.
providing a commodity. Yeah.
right.
So we go in and either, we map out the existing infrastructure, look at, kind of substation data from the utility companies, see if the capacity of the substation can support a project like this. Then we reach out to landowners or business owners who have enough land that would support a project like this. And then they reach out to us with any interest. We don't like go and cold call people. It's kind of just a letter. If they're interested, then they can come and reach out to me.
Okay.
And then from there, we lease or purchase the land, whatever kind of, and options held on the land until we actually receive permits. And then we actually take them into construction, then the option is pulled. We start paying the landowner or the business owner a rent for the acreage that we.
before you get rid of that.
Once it actually goes into
Wait a minute.
production, then
This is,
there's,
you back?
there's no traffic,
Sorry.
there's no odor, there's no nothing that
Right.
comes about this. We have a maintenance
72.
company that checks up on the facility probably 3 times a year. And that's mostly just to maintain any weed overgrowth, check the fence that we'll put around it. And just check all of
Right.
the electrical systems as well to make sure that it's running properly.
Okay, and so this is, if every single resident signs up for this, they all get 15%? Is that what you said? Something
So-
about a
so we're-
15%?
Yeah, so it's kind of up to whatever it could
So the.
Handle?
handle. So
Okay.
if we have people in other cities that are within proximity, because the idea of this is that it's a state program, so we actually can't construct anything until we get approval from the state. So it's a community solar program, and that's a program that the state runs. And then there's only a certain amount of capacity that they hand out to developers every single year based on that program.
And then, other than the savings to our potential residents, what is it to the village? Is there any benefit to the village?
Yeah, there's a good amount of tax revenue that comes in. So this, we're proposing a 5 megawatt project.
Tax
which is a-
revenue in the form of power.
What?
Tax revenue in the form of power.
Well, we pay a lot higher taxes than the landowner is currently paying for that piece of land.
So
So
you're talking in property tax?
Correct.
We have the lowest tax rate in the county. It's kind of irrelevant for us.
And
We wouldn't make no money.
Really is.
So I understand that, but hear me out. So
Okay.
it's, if the land gets reassessed, then typically the property tax is double and we pay whatever that increase is. However, there's also a tax that is specifically just on the facility itself, which is what we're installing on the land. And that tax is about $6,000 to $8,000 a megawatt per year. And we're thinking, and this, we're trying to install about 5 megawatts on this property. So you're looking at $35,000 to $40,000 in a tax bill that we will be paying. Obviously, that gets divided up between your fire department, your school system, part of the county.
We get about 48 bucks.
I have a question.
You get a lot more than that. I
Yeah.
looked into it and it's a few $1,000 increase.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you checked with the railroad and see what their plans are with those railroad tracks? I was under the impression that those tracks aren't going to be there that long. That they may have a history of disappearing, being taken away. If,
The north-south tracks?
they did file an application to stop using them, but that was pre-COVID and I have not heard anything since then.
well, is it, we don't know if it's pending or not, or if it could be brought up again. Because if that occurs, sir, that land is going to become a heck of a lot more valuable for other uses rather than a solar project. We don't want to think too,
But that's.
we
up to
can't
land.
guess too far ahead of what's going to happen with the
Yeah, we-
land and its valuation. Because,
That'd be up to Gus.
residents.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. I completely understand that. I haven't reached out to the railroad, just because we're kind of very early in this process, more making sure like that we get an executed lease with him and kind of going through this process, because if you guys don't like the project and it's not even gonna move forward, then I don't need, then the railroad is nothing to me, but it is his land, so he kind of has his ability to do what he wants with it right now.
So you have reached out to Gus and spoke with Gus, the landowner?
Yeah, we have a lease with him.
Okay.
Yes.
We
Our,
already have
our
one.
community calls him by his nickname Gus. They don't call him Vern. So when they're saying Gus, they're referring to Abby.
I understand that.
Okay.
He did the same thing with me, so
Okay.
I wasn't sure, so that's why I started with.
Yeah,
Vern.
no, we don't
Okay.
Gus.
Okay, perfect.
So the
So he
map
is
on
aware.
William has it now. It shows just south of this waterway. It shows the property being from there south on this section only. And then I'm assuming your utility lines are the ones that are feeding across here, the colored lines,
That is correct.
or is that your crossing?
I think that's.
That would be both. So the easement to get through there would be for the utility lines. We would have,
Because that's the grade crossing that's there now.
that is correct,
That's
yeah.
where we cross as well.
There would be 3 poles just to the east of the roadway, and then everything else would be underground,
Where's the substation tie into?
just to the north.
The one up at Edson.
Yeah,
Oh, right down here.
yeah, right there.
It's utility.
Or utility, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That was close.
I knew what you.
It's in. Again, just, I think Chris asked, just so people are aware of where this is. This is 72 Junction. Train tracks at Junction.
What kind of
East-west.
impact could we expect along Junction Road at the point where the poles would come off the property to get onto the grid to head to the substation? Obviously during construction, are you coming in and off of Junction Road, or are you gonna be able to access from another means?
You're saying to the site, we'd be accessing off of Junction Road, right near that house.
How long is construction?
The only
take?
way to get back there.
It's clearly labeled no trespassing.
Thank-
Oh, yeah.
Every 10 feet.
I'm sure Gus may bend the rules for this one.
What, how long is the construction process?
Typically, there's only about 2 to 3 months of actual construction. A lot of the other stuff that does take place for the total construction would be about 6 months. But there are people who need to go out there and review. There's ComEd who takes their time on doing stuff like this. So because
I
it's
was-
not a whole lot of benefit to them, they kind of take their time on making their interconnections and everything like that. So our in and out will be about 2 to 3 months. And then it will be, we would stop by 3 times a year, probably for weed and kind of overgrowth maintenance, and then just making sure that the facility is running as normal as possible.
You've already contacted the county.
Yes. Well, because we have projects in the county.
I
For
thought
this
they,
one, they
I
wouldn't.
thought they
Or not
still
for
had
this-
to go to
not
the
for this
county.
So in this scenario, this is within our village limits. The last person who came to present to us. it
Oh, I
was
know,
within
I
our
know, but
mile
I
and a
thought-
half,
I
But not
thought-
within ours.
I thought the county still had.
No.
Not in our limits.
No,
Now we're
not
within
for
our
this one,
limits.
no.
No. the
Our-
other
our
project
boundary's
that was
right
in the
here.
County, but
Right.
within our mile and a half,
Right.
yes, then they
Right.
needed us.
You have the tax numbers you're referring to, the revenue, you have that,
Yeah, I have
bids that we can review.
I have just a small like breakdown of like the Meridian School District 223 receives the most, it appeared, from
Yeah.
the tax bill,
Uh-huh.
which is like 68%, it looked
Yep.
like.
Yeah, they get the most from me too.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone.
The village is, I believe, about 2.5%. So it's about $1,000, about 950
For the year,
a year.
so far less than the several thousand you mentioned.
He meant that was.
He's holding your feet to the fire.
Yeah, I mean, like the fire district does receive some money. And I didn't list the whole breakdown that they had, and I didn't know which was inside your limits at all. Like if you guys have police or or anything like that, so I wasn't sure how to break it out, but I just did a few of the key ones that I looked into.
We're just the village.
Okay.
The rest are Old County.
So how would the discounted energy show up? That would just be every month on a ComEd bill? It's, there was. it would
That is
qualify?
correct. Yeah, it would show up on your ComEd bill every month.
So here's the impact to the village cost wise as well. Our current zoning code does not allow for solar of any type except for rooftop. So the village would need updated zoning code to allow for land solar and that would, I'm going to guess, because it's a change to our zoning code, would require a public hearing, reconvening of our PZC and going through that process and then bringing that to the board for approval. So there is the cost on that end to the village of just
Which Normally
allowing,
it's covered by a donation by the petitioner.
it can be. But
There-
those are the costs that we're looking at because our zoning code doesn't disallow it, but it doesn't speak to it. So it's just not allowable until we decide what we want to do to it.
So it would take the zoning, the legal, we'd have engineering review their engineering just to make sure.
Well, so as for our part of the updating the zoning code, there's no engineering
But
involved in
somewhere
that
down the
case.
road there.
After they apply, their plans would have to be reviewed by the engineer, but that's an application cost
Yeah.
that can be discussed in the zoning itself. But as for that part, we have to allow it first. And I
I get you.
suspect that we are silent in the code so that we could, as somebody approached us, determine what the rules and guidelines were going to be.
Yeah, but how much would our legal fees be in those? We can't.
As William said, people are
Depends what you-
welcome to make donations to cover those. But no, otherwise we will not recoup those. Some of that is the cost of doing business to allow something like that.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah, but for less than $1,000 a year, the cost of business is $10,000. It's not worth it to me.
you know, I'm not opposed to a plan if it's, where I'm not gonna get 10,000 complaints from residents, and this would look to be an area that it wouldn't be, so I wouldn't be opposed to that, except for that. Oh, the only reason I would be opposed is that if it cost the village a lot of money, which, funny thing with leases and agreements and the rest, we seem to.
We seem to get
spend a
nailed on.
crap load of money on, whether it's, telephone communications or.
I'm normally of the same opinion of Chris. I typically don't firm, especially in the open environment and prime farmland and everything else that we traverse, but this seems to be a project that is out of sight, out of mind. My concern would be the construction traffic coming in off of our main arterial road, to be honest. And of course, the fees to amend our process and everything else. I'm not against it entirely.
How soon would you be able to start? Like if everything goes swimmingly?
That's the thing, because we're held by the state.
Yeah.
We do our best to.
Well, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. Because we're held by the state and because the state has set up guidelines and not everyone gets chosen kind of thing. So we pick sites that we feel that the state will grant a certain amount of points for and have a better opportunity to choose them based on how it gets set up in the queue. Best case scenario, that when we submit on November 1st, which is when the next block opens for the state, that if it gets chosen in that first block, then we'd probably be looking at the end of part of the season of the following year. When we would start construction
Following year.
of 23. Yeah.
So we're looking at a year and a half,
Over a year.
start time of perfect world. Yeah.
Correct.
In
but
best case scenario.
in order for us to submit in November, we have to have a
Right. We have to have something going soon.
correct.
There's still no guarantee you're gonna get chosen.
And we could eat that, we did just spend that money for no reason.
You don't need to amend the zoning code until you know they're coming.
How can you issue them a permit?
They don't need a permit.
Well,
from
it's just
us.
intent,
We
right?
do.
You do need a permit?
Well,
No, we need a full,
From us before you apply to the state?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, then you're right.
That's why yeah.
I was under the impression that it was similar to the last round of applications where people didn't necessarily need the full blown.
they just need the favorable opinion.
no.
Okay, then it would require the amending to our zoning code prior to even issuing of a permit, because I cannot issue. a
And that's
permit
where
for
the
something
largest
that
amount of
doesn't
our
exist.
costs would be.
It
in
would
the-
be the largest amount of
Yeah.
our costs.
I mean, obviously, if there's still like substation capacity in the area, we would, even if this didn't win in the first year and it won in the second or third year, then all it would be doing is just sitting in the state's queue for another year until it would hopefully get chosen. And then instead of in November of 23, maybe it's November 24 or 25. where it actually goes to construction.
There were issues with Panning Place with complaints from the Sierra Club about wetlands. Being that it's a contiguous piece of property, is there any thoughts that that was involved in that same?
I don't know that you guys have a choice on that because that plat has been approved. So that Panning Place for X amount of years after that plat has been approved is eligible to still go there. And I believe they have 10 or 15 more years left.
Do you remember that at all, William?
What's
The
that?
Sierra Club coming to us about the wetlands and
For some reason, I want to say Panning Place was approved before I got on the board. But I do remember hearing that.
Actually, that's
Panning
Brenda, she'd
Place is
remember.
before both of our
I do
time.
remember.
Yeah, 'cause I don't, yeah. neither one of them.
So maybe we can
What?
find out. It might be worth our time to find out
I'd
really
have to
quickly,
pull
look,
it,
see if
but
we
I
can
have
find
to
something in the
assume
past,
it's
in
got all
records
the
about
signatures on it.
Panning Place, about the Sierra Club, just see if it transfers into that property as well, because that's a fight you guys
And
love.
that's why I said I have to assume.
Sierra Club's just a joy.
Would we have to go through and rezone it? Cause I mean, there's a lot.
It's
of
not rezoning.
areas.
It's not rezoning. It's fine
It's
as
amending
is.
your zoning, right?
So I can't issue a permit for something that doesn't exist. So there's nothing for me to issue a permit for because it's not allowable. So I recently had this conversation with the village attorney. If the code is silent, it's not allowable. And our zoning code does not speak to solar on the ground, so it's not allowable until we add it in.
It's not the,
Got it.
it's just the code.
It is just the code, but it's silent, so
Right.
it's not allowable. So I can't issue a permit for something that's not allowable.
Got it. Because
there's-
typically in like this, in the smaller municipalities, we do have to like get like a special use type of permit.
So
And that's what we would go.
it doesn't even say that you need that
Yes.
because it doesn't say anything. And so I suspect that that's where it would end up,
Got
but
it.
it doesn't say anything right now. So it says you can't have it.
Yeah. Understood. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I wanted to kind of
So
bounce this
I
off.
I guess what he's after is from the board members, what are your feelings on this? You shall also be here in a year and a half.
One of my concerns,
Next May. So,
and one of my concerns is, as far as I'm concerned, it's too close to our residents. And I think,
In a
I
spot
think
that's
we
not gonna
can
be
hear
seen
from
by
them.
our residents?
It's not close enough to
It's
worry
not.
about.
well, yeah, but sooner or later, values have to go up on homes. when
And
you have
having a
something-
potential opportunity to save money on your electrical bill because of this isn't gonna be
That-
an attraction?
I understand that, but I don't think it's gonna be greater.
But it looks like it's in a good spot to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's hidden. I mean,
I like this, I like the placement better than what we've seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
You wouldn't
behind the
be able to see
berm,
it.
behind the railroad berm. I think it's out of the way. That's not my problem. The expense to the village would be my problem. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be opposed to it. Not that in a year and a half, I'll be here to vote on it. Who knows? You really-
Yeah, there might be half of us won't be here.
Well, you never know. We'd have
John,
to-
thoughts?
We'd have to know by then. We'd have to know before then,
Oh, yeah.
because you'd have to have.
If he wants a permit by November
Right,
and I
right.
need to reconvene planning and zoning and have our attorneys draft something, we're going to have to start moving on it. It would be something that the village would need to start on in the next month or so.
John, tell us how you feel.
Well, there's no way we can recoup costs.
no, but
Not
I mean,
mandatorily.
we don't recoup costs of everything we do in the village, right?
Well, we
Like,
know that.
I mean, we offer some things as a service to our residents, right?
Like the
I
parks.
agree with that, but there's been a few things that we've had.
Well, David's a green kind of guy. He'll cut his
Bit
bill
in the
for us,
butt.
right?
Mhm.
I think part of me on the positive side would agree with a few board members and Nate. It is a benefit to the community. It's certainly something that a lot of people, right or wrong, rush out and buy Teslas and like all this green stuff. It is a selling point. So for that respect, I'd be fine. Have to make, it just can't get out of hand like it knows that. Or it can sometimes, because Sandy would do a lot of that for us and save us money.
I can't on zoning. You're on your own.
I'm comfortable with. I mean, I thank you for that too, Nate, because it does kind of wake you up. I mean, sometimes you have to spend money to.
Bill?
I like, I believe in formed utility, but I'm not sold completely yet, and I keep thinking about what else we can do with the land, what's gonna happen in the future, and I don't have a crystal ball.
But that land's been, no, just to.
Yeah, I understand
piggyback on
it.
What you're saying, it's been sitting
But,
like
well,
that. for-
sooner or later, that land is gonna be sold to somebody.
It's just been farmland.
Yeah, I know, but they don't make any more land.
And the lease doesn't go for 100 years. I mean, right now, we have it in the contract as 30 years. So that's, you'll
Mhm.
expire in 30 years, and then
Refarm.
through our decommissioning clause in our lease, we will bring it back to suitable farming condition once we pull everything from the site.
Or an extension of
We also probably.
whatever other thing that's over there.
What?
That's
Well,
the
we
problem
didn't-
there.
Yeah, subdivision, yeah.
Be close to dead.
Jen,
I'm not opposed to it. It's piqued my interest because it is probably the best spot that we've seen for people who presented to us. It is blocked. Not gonna, it's not an eyesore. It's,
It's already burned.
right,
Perfect.
Nate,
so.
I'm for it.
Nathan, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, barring that something doesn't come up, some, hidden skeleton in a closet.
William, save the best for last.
I think everyone stated everything already.
All right. So there's your consensus.
Do,
All right.
do you know what it is? What the consensus is? I'm just wondering because I don't. Just wondering if You do.
It is a majority. I can.
Everybody's not seriously opposed to it.
Yeah.
Okay, there you
So
go.
I guess the
All right.
direction I needed.
So how do we
on
get-
Moving on it, are we asking Ansel Blank to start drafting us zoning to allow
You haven't
for
got an
ground?
application?
I would
don't
say that we
think-
should do this. I mean, if nothing happens with this, at least we have the opportunity for future opportunities. And this is already taken care of and done, so we're not
I guess that's. one
held
way
back
to
from
look-
future endeavors.
I guess that's one way to look at it. So.
So I suspect that Ansel Blank will list that as a special use in any commercial or industrial or ag area, which would require board approval at any level, because they will still want to keep our hands tied.
Right.
in Restricting what's allowed.
As a
and not
special use,
allowed.
like you said, we have to approve it.
Yes.
Anybody opposed to that?
No.
No.
All right. So we'll move with that.
So
Alright.
moving forward with it,
Yes.
Yes.
making sure that we got this on here.
Yes.
So with us moving forward, that at least gives you an idea where we stand.
Yeah, no, that's very much appreciated. This honestly more than I probably thought I was gonna get out of this.
Well, I think Sandy told you the history, so.
Welcome to Davis Township.
No, she definitely did, but I think I explained it to her on the phone. I think that this is the best place that it could be.
So I do have one more question.
Yes,
You said it's community feeder. I think it's, is that term you use?
community solar.
Community
Yeah.
cell. So if you are providing it, so our residents have first shot at it?
No, unfortunately, it's pretty much anyone, there's a certain like map of how far you can go out from like what's feeding back to the utility company. But because there's not much other than a few small communities within the area, then I would hope that people within the community have a better chance.
And with 5 megawatts, how many could you take?
You could take a few hundred homes typically, and like we sign up businesses, school districts, you could sign up your village hall electric bill too, so
What's the distance? from
Sorry.
the facility?
that's what I have to. The state just redrafted new plans and they actually haven't even signed them in place yet. They go in place July
They have
19th.
old ones?
They have old ones, but that was based on utility territory, so because people within Chicago are ComEd also, they could technically sign up for this as well.
Interesting. All right.
No, we gotta ban Chicago. And about 3 counties this way.
I don't care who buys the electricity, makes no
But either way, the schools benefit, so they're gonna get something
Yeah.
out of this, so. I mean, and the fire districts.
Exactly, and even if it's not this specific one, we build and you guys sign up for, it could be another one that we build 10 miles away. That could do exactly the same thing for you guys and give you the same amount of discount. All right, well, I appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item, we have a new business,
Can I circle back to that real quick?
certainly.
Is there anything that anybody wants to see out the gate in the zoning for restrictions or anything else? Or just let them go with what's common out there and we'll go from there?
Yeah, I would think Frank would know what's common out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They always protect us pretty well, so.
Well, and by the time you guys see it, zoning will have, the PZC will have seen it as well.
good enough.
And then Glenda, I sent you a text, but I will talk to you about that later.
Okay.
Good enough.
That's it.
All right, we're all
Yep.
circled.
Just wanted to make sure I had all the direction I needed.
New business, everybody knows, is Benny's, and they're going to need a liquor license. So we have to create a new one.
Yeah, it'll be on the agenda next week as long as nobody objects to a Class B license for them.
That's all this is.
So they're just gonna sell. Carry out.
We don't have any licenses. Those who haven't been here, we don't keep any licenses just hanging around. We only create them when they're needed and they're destroyed or eliminated if they become available. So we never have a liquor license just sitting waiting to go. We create them specific for.
And in this particular scenario, the resolution actually says that if you don't sign the liquor license by June 1st, it will automatically revert back to 0 as well. So we have a time frame in which we have to sign the liquor license. Yeah.
I don't want this to stand in the way and be a hindrance to the Benny's over there. That's not gonna be a problem, is it?
Nope.
No.
So if next week we make, if we
Hold on.
pass it next week,
He will be here on May 11th to pick up the license. I'll have you sign as soon as. the resolution passes.
so again,
Okay,
Again, it's
Yeah.
going.
all right.
No hindrance there.
The meeting's on the 10th. He'll be here on
Okay.
the 11th.
so yeah, so basically when we pass it next week, Bill, I'll sign it when she hands it to me and off it goes.
Yeah, because he's
All right.
already cleared all the background check and everything else. It's literally just the formality.
All right, moving on to the clerk, Sandy.
All right, hold on. Let's try to look something up. Maybe front back.
Now we turn that off.
All right, so first thing I have on there is a discussion on the deck at Village Hall. As you guys know, the deck on the back side of Village Hall is falling apart and needs to be repaired. So Fergie generously assisted in getting a quote for that. And keep in mind, this is from February because I asked him to get the quote so that I can put the money in the budget. But back then, we're looking at about $28,000.
Ouch.
For a deck?
It's the
stairs?
2-story
Price
going
of
up to the
this.
tenants and everything else.
Price of wood.
Over here.
All right.
Over here. Yeah, it's
What's
the
it cost
side.
to tear that down?
I don't think
We
of that
can't
as village
because
hall.
of the apartment upstairs.
Yeah.
So that's not an option. So,
What's the, can't you just take, you don't have to keep the patio, you could just put in a window.
They have to have a second egress.
Yeah, but
Fire
you have to have
escape.
it- That wouldn't have, you could go a lot cheaper than a deck with an egress.
A ladder is, I mean, a window is defined as a secondary means of egress.
It's
yeah.
true. If they have a
That's what I'm
escape
saying, you
ladder.
don't have to build a $28,000 deck
I mean, we could make it, so we got the quote based upon what's existing and replacing what's
off.
currently there. We could shorten it up, but as I mentioned to you guys a year ago, I mean, these are the costs that are coming. I still have easements that have to be replaced. When you guys didn't want to make a decision as to what to do at Village Hall, whether to repair or build a new one or save for that, and nobody wanted to make a decision, this was going to be the end result. And so this will not be the first time I come to you guys needing funds. So even if I reduce the size of the deck, you're still looking 10 or 15,000.
Is that
Let me
still
bounce-
good? Is the
quote-
quote still good?
No, we're hopeful maybe it'll be right around the same because the price of lumber has come down just a tad since February, but I'm hopeful it'll be right around the same. So I guess my question for you is, it does exceed the public works limit of 25,000. And so I need to know what you guys want to do. I am comfortable just obtaining 3 quotes, going with the lowest one and waiving competitive bidding.
When does the lease end?
It is a month to month,
What do we make per month?
$500.
It's cheaper to kick the tenant out.
It is.
Amen.
I would not
We
be in
gonna
favor of
required to
that.
pay prevailing wage.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yes, that is in the quote.
State law. I mean.
So a question, William, you'd probably have a lot more knowledge just on anybody else sitting here is on the code with, or actually Matt might as well. Right, he's here. On that secondary egress, in a multifamily, is it required to be a walkout egress?
I'm gonna guess it's dependent on the age of the building and the current code. That scenario, can't say definitively, but I'm gonna leave it no.
I'm also gonna lean with though, if we end up not making it a walkout egress, that we then have to put the wall back in to put a window in, whereas we could simply just shorten up the space.
Why does that?
It's got a sliding glass door there right now. You can't have a
My
sliding
question
glass
is,
door.
Is
in
that a
nowhere.
bedroom? Is that, when we remove that, is that an enclosed bedroom?
I don't think
It's a
so. I
living-
think
it's a
that's in the
living room.
kitchen.
You could just build a wall and put a wall up, re-insulate it.
Do you remember my conversation about that building?
I still think it'd be cheaper just to give a notice to the tenant to.
I
vacate.
don't think that that's fair, that this village chooses not to spend money on maintenance and instead evict a tenant.
About $500.
It is not the tenant's fault that the village has done nothing to maintain this building for the last 30 years. That's not his
But in the
responsibility.
course of the, in the course of the
You're
years.
talking about, we put carpet in here.
I put carpet in here under my spending limit because you guys put it.
And I picked the color out.
We could double his rent though.
No.
Sandy,
This is not a laughing matter. I
Sa-
apologize.
Sandy, if you need to, I can have Tom Houck, our architect, take a look at what the secondary ingress would, what the minimum requirement would
And
be.
You can put in a
Honestly,
door
right
with a
now-
staircase.
And
down
that's
there.
honestly, that's what we could do. So right now there is a deck there.
'Cause-
We could remove the deck
Just
and
put a
just make it
staircase.
simply an exit with a stairway as opposed
I-
to the actual.
Because I think when we looked at remodeling, you know, Village Hall and the apartment, I think we've got all the drawings for it, I believe, so.
Can also put a loose ladder there.
I was just, that's
Right.
what I
Yeah.
was just gonna say.
There are.
One of those tubes that you shoot out.
That's
I have,
required.
I
now,
have the
too.
chain,
Oh,
the kitty
we
chain
There
ladder.
you go. If you look at
I
the
mean, that's-
picture, there
That's
used
the
to
only
be
way I
a
would
tube.
leave my apartment if I had one.
Right there's the tube. So it used to be right there.
I don't
upstairs.
know, again, I don't know the codes, but
I
I
was
literally in my
wondering.
upstairs bedrooms have, in the back bedrooms, have the kitty chain ladder. You hang
I
them on your
assume
window
we-
frame and climb down the ladder out of your window.
We will not.
All right.
Matt,
But I mean, otherwise we're 56 months just to
But I-
recoup the cost of a deck.
Matt,
No, I think.
is your least expensive alternatives, is that what you're gonna look into?
Yes.
Short of
See,
removing the tenant?
So.
I'll tell you what the minimum requirements are for it. And
Cause I gotta
see-
be pretty damn close to 28 grand to tear that side down.
It's 100.
Wow.
And plus you then need to put me back my bathroom, plumbing and heating because that's what's over there.
Is there any reason why board members couldn't
Immediately.
do these projects?
Yeah,
Why?
prevailing wage.
I can't read a tape measure, I'm out.
Sign. Are you saying for free? You were
They
gonna
don't
do
make
it for
somebody
prevailing
do
wage?
it.
It'd be
You
a
were
lot.
gonna donate your time and energy?
You're looking at 3 days.
Hey, feel free to donate.
That's not a lot. of work.
If you're willing to donate, I'm willing to.
Kennedy, that's what my question.
And I almost failed.
So
All right.
Matt's gonna look at cheaper options.
So Matt will let us know what the code is or what the requirements are at,
At a
Yep.
minimum.
and then we'll go from there and see what we can come up with that is a a lesser expensive item. Again, I suspect that putting a wall in where a sliding glass window is in the existing structure that is there with the brick and the stuff over the brick and the unknown condition of the brick underneath, we may end up. in a
We might
similar
find something
spot.
else that we don't wanna know
It-
about.
That's
Well,
coming
it's never
from Matt,
just that,
so
right? Like on any home project or any
that's
project.
kind of like,
yeah.
I'd like, there's nothing wrong with the sliding glass door. I'd like to leave that and just see. if we
Screw
can
it shut.
reduce our cost.
Right.
Anyway, so I'll work with
Abs-
Matt on seeing what the code requires.
think you
what we
can just-
Lessen the cost, but there is currently an 8 by 8 foot deck. And so I suspect a lot of the costs are to do the 2 8, because it's 2, right? There's one on the first floor.
Yeah.
So there's 2 8 foot by 8 foot decks in this quote.
So that's being to replace both of them?
It is. This
Oh,
quote is
okay.
to replace exactly what's there, so we can reduce our costs by removing the decking and just bringing it back to a stairway against the side of the building.
We're making even a smaller deck.
Or whatever the
6 by
minimum.
6 deck, so it matches the patio door or something, not bigger than the
Yeah.
patio door.
Yeah, so
That's allowed. I don't know what's. like
I'll
you said,
work with
what's-
that and we'll figure
What
it out.
code allows or something.
All right, so that was my conversation on the deck. The credit card program, I emailed every single one of you today, and I know that you all have diligently looked.
I
at
did,
it.
I like that. Apple
Nope.
Pay, Android. yeah.
Really? Cause I thought it was kind of expensive.
So I did a cost comparison. This is one of the 2 companies that BSNA, who is our new software provider, recommended that coincides with their company. It allows you to make payments online while viewing your bill, all in one portal.
Like it. I like it.
So you, just like Nycor or ComEd, you log in and you pay directly into the portal. The fees is where it gets a little sticky. So currently we have a 2.5-ish% fee and they're at 3.25.
Well,
However, their minimum charge is
$2
2 and ours is 3. Our existing is 3,
Yep.
but they're using,
Yeah.
it's a minimum
Yeah,
of $3
that's credit card.
until you 120 and then it goes to the percentage rate. With theirs, the break even point will be about $93. And after 93, you'll be paying what you currently pay now. The ACH checks are $2 per transaction. Right now, you can go online and pay your bill for $1.50 a transaction. This also offers the ability, if the village chooses to pay for it, all the paper checks that we receive, they essentially have a deal with the banks and they end up pulling the checks from the banks and depositing the money directly. The benefit to using a program like this is the money is directly applied to the accounts inside BSNA. So like right now, I have to go in and apply all of the payments that we receive, and then Brenda has to move them to where they need to go. This would automatically do all of those steps for us. As I said, this is one of 2 companies that they recommend. But this is the one of the ones that they recommended.
Which one do you and Brenda prefer?
I have not spoken to the other company yet, which after dealing with this, I was going to circle back to the fact that I think I do want to speak to. So the goal was that Invoice Cloud was a person that was going to be eligible and to quickly get integrated with our system and be able to launch at the same time we launched BSNA. That timeframe did not happen. And so now we're to the point that we're going to have to launch later anyway. So I think I'd like to take the time to actually review the second company at this point and see where they're at.
We have one currently that people can use. Is that what you're saying? Or is the other company is?
So right
Not like
now,
this, right?
you have to know what your balance is to pay. So right now you can go online and make a credit card payment, but if you don't know what your balance is, you're just paying whatever it is you think.
How
you
many
need to
people
pay.
utilize that?
Quite a bit. I think we said that we averaged, I think it's like a third of our payments, maybe a little more than that, come in through the credit card system.
May increase if you.
And so their
Yeah,
goal is to
easier
increase it
usage.
because the more traffic they see, the more money they get, which increases our traffic of online payments as well. So their program, you would be able to log into a singular portal, see your past or see your bill, see your past payments, see your past bills, see everything all in one portal and pay at the same
Now, is
portal.
this added to our website with just an icon they click on? Or is
Yes.
this a random?
No,
You can do an app
no.
on your phone.
So-
Not a big URL to
You
type.
can do
in.
an app. on your
So,
phone,
no,
too.
it would be that, I think there's an app,
There's-
and then there's like a way that if somebody called in and said, I want to make a payment, I don't know where to go, we can text them the link. It's pretty,
All these fees are pass on fees to the user.
yes.
Not
Whatever
all.
you want to
There
go with
was-
is easier and fine.
There was something we paid, right?
So it saves us
25?
time and
Oh,
money.
So he's
And
right.
there's no
We
cost
do
as well.
pay,
No,
hold
it's
on.
saving them a lot of time.
Because they-
We do pay 25 cents if we choose to opt for the program that pulls the paper checks and then electronically applies them, which we do approximately 22 checks like that a month. And then we do pay, they have if somebody wanted to pay on their telephone program, it would charge us 95 cents. So like you have an old school, you can call in and pay over the phone by punching the numbers in. And so that would cost us 95 cents if somebody chose to pay that way.
But the vast majority of the fees were passed on to whoever was using the
Yes.
service.
And we would be saving money with you and Brenda not doing so much inputting anyway.
That's
so it's a
exactly what
wash.
it, well, and it's a
Close to a
nightmare.
wash.
Credit cards are a
Freeing
nightmare.
up time.
I was like, how much
Credit
time do you
card.
think you spend doing it the way you do it now?
I will say this past week, we probably spent 3 hours trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
if one credit card payment is not where it needs to be, or it gets batched in with the wrong group, and then we can't correlate it to the bank, it's a nightmare. The nightmare.
I-
So-
I don't like the word. credit
I'd like you to look. If you
Okay.
and Brenda could just look at them both and I'd rather just have a recommendation myself.
I'd really like to just see what the other percentage is. He did say that our current percentage rate is almost unheard of at this point. A lot of companies aren't that low. So I'm interested to see what the other company would have as a credit card percentage.
You know, I thought that if you used a debit, you got a lower fee, but they seem the same.
It's
was
the same.
Same, yeah.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
will say
different merchants?
our
Well,
average,
debits don't
The
pass
Visa
on.
machines,
the
it's the
3%
Visa and the
charge.
MasterCard machines, when you go to the different merchant, that is where the debit is.
So,
yeah, this is an online,
so Comment and them are they're paying the fees on your behalf.
Yes.
you know.
but they're multi.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're paying.
The other thing I was gonna say about these, I've had it, John, and then I lost it when you said that.
Mm.
So the average bill in the village is about $86. And so the person who's paying the average bill will actually notice a decrease of about 6 cents. But everybody else who whose bill is more than $93 will notice an increase somewhere between 0 and about $2. All right, I'll reach out to the other company and confirm that this one's percentage rate is not unheard of, and then we'll be back. But in the meantime, I did email the entire packet to all of you, so if you have any questions, let me know. That's all I had.
All right, Brenda?
I don't really have anything right now. I think Sandy said it all.
Thank you.
All right, Matt?
All right, projects. I see this is under Chris's as well, but microsurfacing, we did have the bid opening. Dale had that on the 26th. Struck and Irwin paving was the low bidder at $92,394.40. We did get three bids. The low bid was almost 23% under our estimate. So we're in the 8-day waiting period, and I think you're planning on getting this awarded hopefully next Tuesday. So.
Anybody oppose us putting that on the consent agenda?
And then the Junction Road sidewalk replacement in front of the fire station. We've got the rest of the topo we need to do, that we needed to finish the design work. We're getting things laid out. The actual drawing for the fire engine did help. We are gonna send somebody out there. We just need to get a couple more measurements on the engine just to verify that when we run it through the driveway, it's not gonna scrape anywhere on the new design. So hopefully.
Did you get designs on all their vehicles or just one?
Just
Just the one that's scraping.
engine, the new engine.
But once Dale has that, the preliminary drawings done, he'll set up a time to meet with Chris and
Their board passed
to
it.
take a look at it. What's that?
Their board passed it.
Their board sent an email
Yeah.
that said that they were interested in moving forward
All
with
right.
us.
All right, that's good.
If there is a significant design alteration due to their engine, that's their cost.
Yep.
I'm talking about the angle from the sidewalk down the apron.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually probably gonna be replacing basically from sidewalk all the way up to the building. Changing that grade and everything, so. And then I gave Brent and Nathan the drawings for the water filter plant improvements, the concrete wall that we're gonna kind of encapsulate the under drain system. Everything looks okay, then we're gonna get some quotes out to a couple contractors to, bring back to the board to consider, so. I think that is it. No word on the rebuild Illinois downtown and Main Streets capital grant. I'm hearing at least people's opinion is that even though this thing was supposed to be announced in April and it's got federal COVID dollars in it and the money's got to be spent by December the 24th, we're in an election year and there's a lot of grants that are just sitting there waiting to be announced. And I'm guessing our beloved governor's waiting to announce it when it's advantageous
Convenient.
for
Closer to November, is
Voters.
that what you're saying?
but we're sitting here waiting. Yeah.
Surprised me.
Everything's about these days.
So. At least they helped us out.
Any further?
That is it.
All right. For the committee's community development events, Jen?
I am working on the blood drive for the 31st. May 31st. And then, that time I believe is gonna be 3 to 7. Our garage sales with surrounding communities are gonna be June 9th, 10th, and 11th, with our electronic recycling for June 12th, and our bulk garbage pickup is gonna be the 15th. And then we have our fireworks for July 3rd. With the movie following.
The movie, what?
Following.
Oh, I thought you had the name of the movie. Oh.
No, because I literally just got an email from the new contact person after I emailed her finally. I should say I emailed her back right away, but she just The information she asked me was in the same email the other person CC'd her in.
We should show him.
Have you heard from any of the businesses on exploring 610?
No, I have not.
I've heard from a few of them, but we've probably got 2 or 3 that I know are typically involved in community events that we should probably follow
Okay.
up on.
I'll talk to you afterwards about it. And
Yeah.
I'll go.
Anything further, Jim?
No, that is it.
Finance, William?
Nothing.
Ordinance enforcement, Bill?
Not enough facts of nothing, so, to talk about anything yet. You don't have anything for me, right?
Oh,
Okay.
Parks and John?
I have nothing to say.
Streets and
Other
ditches?
than Nate's still looking for a part-timer to mow, full-timer to mow. Anybody looking?
Yeah, there's 11.25 million jobs opening, so he might have a little bit of an issue.
We're looking
there.
for a full-time employee?
No.
No,
Oh, you found one?
Seasonal
We
for mowing.
found them.
we
Oh, you
don't.
found-
he found
Well,
one.
one, parks are not full-time employees. They're seasonals.
Yeah.
We don't
did-
have full-time in parks except for
We
the
just hired them.
supervisor.
No,
Those
they
are
may
all
work-
part-time seasonals.
They may work.
Never
like
mind.
another week,
Yeah.
but they're
Oh, I see. No benefit.
no, they're
Yeah.
seasonal. They only
Yeah.
for the summer.
So we're not looking for anyone to mow.
Streets, Chris?
Well, we already discussed the microsurfacing project, so I guess we can go to the discussion on the request for reimbursement for Gus.
Yeah, it's supposed to say for Gus Gravy, not from Gus Gravy.
I like
From
the
is better.
I know from is better, but
Yeah.
look,
Yeah, since we've already talked about him today.
I think we just helped them out a little bit. I don't know that
I don't know, where were we with this? I forget.
you guys asked me to attach the agreement to the board packet so it can be reviewed.
It
Which
was-
now that I think about that, did I attach it?
No, it
Hey,
wasn't in-
life's been a little crazy.
that's okay. We can table it.
Anyway, so I think it was simply so that
Yeah.
someone particular trustee
Yeah,
can confirm
there you
that
go.
this is the language of the agreement.
I don't think it was attached.
Okay.
I'm not 100%.
It wasn't.
Oh,
positive.
no,
was
it's
not.
It was not
fine.
attached.
not.
All right.
Not.
All right, well then let
So
me,
we'll
we'll
just-
try again next week.
That'd be great.
BSNA did just leave after 4 weeks of mental strenuous
Yeah.
learning.
My brain
So-
still hurts.
Yeah, so if that's all I forgot during their entire
So
time, I'll take it.
I don't have an issue with it.
So,
It can
I'll-
wait a week or 2 or
All right.
3 or,
I'll put it on
Sure.
for next week.
I don't know, it wasn't a lot, it wasn't a ton.
All right,
I
I'll
don't
put it on
remember
for
the
next
exact
week.
number, but it was.
It's like $500.
Yeah, it's like 500.
Oh.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. We'll try again next week.
Sorry.
That was good.
Okay, utilities, Nathan?
Concrete wall's already been discussed. So as far as I know, I think we're caught up to date. I'm waiting on information as always.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah,
The speed of government.
Anything on unfinished business?
I have not heard
We're
from,
waiting from them, correct? I just
Yes.
wanna clarify.
yes,
That's what I thought.
we left the ball in their court
They're to submit drawings to us on what they want.
and a proposed lease.
That's all.
Yep.
Okay. I just
All
wanna
in one.
clarify
Yep.
What we're doing.
Public?
I have a couple questions about the renter that's running from the village. How long has that person been running?
Since 2013, 14.
When the Fairdale.
Oh, since the Fairdour tornado,
15,
so 2015.
15.
7 years.
So why would anybody representing the village want to kick them out simply because we're negligent on repairing things?
Safety.
Be more of a life safety issue than it would be kicking them out. It's just a term you have to use to make somebody leave 30-day to vacate. I mean, if the county came in today, Glenn, and condemned the building, considering that maybe it's as bad as we think it is, I mean, that would be the end result. He would have to leave. If somebody called the county and complained about it, he could be condemned and kicked out.
It could not be. The village
Well,
doesn't make.
I would look at it as more as when are you gonna stop throwing money into it for what your return is?
And as
I would prefer to label it as, we're not kicking anybody out. The village is doing a cost benefit analysis to determining the risk versus benefit factor. Unfortunately, if it involves somebody renting, that's the outcome, but that's the analysis that needs to be done. I'm not advocating either way. I'm just simply answering the question.
As I explained to Chris earlier, the Village of Davis Junction gave that authority solely to the streets trustee. And so the discretion of renting or not renting is at the discretion of Chris.
Well, the truth of the matter is,
We
if-
did that back
if,
when
if
Jason
we
was
did
on.
give him notice, it would be totally legal because it's a month to
is.
month.
We're not violating the law.
Right, I'm just saying, I'm not advocating that we, send him packing because I just don't think that's very fair to somebody, so, but if we have a cheaper way to make the.
What was
repair-
repaired the front porch was repaired the rear, and repaired the side.
We
Yeah,
haven't
but we're not
repaired
getting rid of the
front.
building, the
thought we
building's
repaired
not
the
going
overhead.
anywhere.
No, I can't get
No.
anybody, no, that's why I said all of these costs are gonna be coming.
Well, we're not
At
getting
what
rid
point
of, the-
you
we're not
stop?
getting rid of the building, it's cheaper
No.
to make the repairs than
It
it is
is.
to get rid of the
Wasn't
building.
it?
I do-
Was in the budget anyways.
Yeah, this I put in the budget.
But I do think going forward that, once our tenant has decided to vacate, that we don't rent it back out again. And,
I think that
maybe-
we've all agreed
Right.
on that.
That's all. Sorry, you got anything else, Glenda?
No, I'll keep it to myself. Thank you.
Anybody from the board, officers or employees have anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
John makes a motion to adjourn. Chris seconds. Discussion. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Adjourned to 8:01.